Good morning. Welcome to Nigeria Now on TOS Television Network, your digital first Pan African news network. If by now you already know that what we'll be doing on the show, or what I will be doing on the show, is look at bring you front pages of the Nigerian newspapers this morning, and then my guests will be helping to dissect and analyze, the very catchy headlines across the dailies. My name is Adesu Elsui, and of course I'm not alone. I have Adebayo Fajimi here with me, a regular on the show, to help me, dissect, analyze the headlines this morning. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm very well.
Okay, let's move straight into it. Let's start with the Guardian newspaper. And so this news came, it came as a shock to a lot of Nigerians yesterday. The banner headline says, Super Cup, Super Scandal. NDLEA releases shocking details of Kyari's drug deals. Rights group hails NDLEA, I beg your pardon. It's a tragic end to a glorious era, says Sage. He should be charged to court immediately, says Falana. His lawyer alleges setup. And that's also replicated on the Daily Trust newspaper. Cocaine scandal heads to roll as NDLEA remands Kyari and others. When you heard this news yesterday, what was the first thing that came to your mind? What was your reaction to all of this?
Yeah, it was very shocking, very unexpected scenario, especially from somebody like Abba Kyari, a well-respected crime buster.
Yes.
Somebody who was never expected to have indulged in something like that. And you remember, just last year, he was also indicted for, to have, involved allegedly in internet fraud.
Yes.
So it was very shocking. It was something, anybody, a well-meaning Nigerian never expected from somebody like that. But as shocking as it was, even though Nigerian police force just yesterday released a press release that in one of their investigations in January, that the investigation indicted him also, and a couple of people in the NDLEA, So, well, we can only say, Nigeria, really, if you look at it, we like to build, something on nothing. But before I really go far, I wouldn't want to say more on that until we wait for the outcome of the investigation. And if it is so that the situation, what we were told yesterday, is really, really the same, it is, then it should be prosecuted so that can serve as a lesson to those people who are still in that very hard. Because I don't want to believe if this story turned out to be true, it's not the only one. And in Nigerian society, we have so many big people that we call, good men, who are indulging in nefarious activities, bad attitude that is not speaking well of our country. So if eventually it turns to be true, then it should be prosecuted and face the wrath of law.
But how is this going to affect the? You mentioned earlier that it wasn't it was implicated in Hush Puppy's internet fraud issue, and then he's on the FBI's extradite list. They've been asking to extradite him to the US. How is this going to affect that? If he's been held here in Nigeria for this drug crime, is it going to affect him, extradited to the US or having to face the charges over there?
No, I don't think it's going to affect that because Nigeria, have a very good relationship with the United States, and if it's to be extradited, if you commit a crime and you have a case to also answer somewhere else, of course, I want to believe there's going to be a synergy. That means if Nigerian if this case is true, if he is found guilty and Nigerian government really wants to do the needful, of course there is a way they can do it. Of course we have diplomatic relationship with the United States of America, so I want to believe there is a way they can do it such that you face you face the music here, and after, whether you face it first here or you later go up there, or whether you go up there first, then you come back and face the same thing.
So one is going to have to wait for the other one.
Yes, but what I think really matters is if he is found guilty, he must not go scot-free.
It's sad how he went from super cop to being like a criminal.
Honestly, very sad. It's very
sad. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, actually. So this one is on ASU strike. I mean, ASU said yesterday that they were going on a 1-month warning strike. So this says students blast ASU, federal government over strike, threaten protest. Do you think that Nigerian students have had it up to here, that they have like people like Nigerians said they have tried, right? And then the back and forth with ASU and the federal government, and then the impact on the student. Would you say that having to go or embark on a strike action, a protest actually is worthwhile at this point?
You mean the students?
Yes.
Well, they will want to do everything possible to ensure that they go back to the classroom, because if they're out of the classroom, you can have a projection, or you can project what the outcome is going to be. You have a chunk of people who are, even though they are even in school, you know the results or what we are hearing from them. So let alone they are completely out of school for good 30 or 31 days.
Yes.
So, but I think Nigerian government ought to be or should be held responsible for whatever happened in this sector, because as far as I'm concerned, I still don't believe that our government is doing enough in our education sector. The question is, why must we be experiencing strike all the time? When you have people, in fact, if you consider what a local government chairman is earning, or what is going to take home at the end of his tenure, with what a professor earns in the in fact, some of them will never earn it till they leave the service. And then these are people that are shaping the future of Nigerians who will eventually become the leaders of this nation. And then you just leave them anyhow. Their allowances are not being paid as at when due. All the apparatus and everything they needed, to succeed in that sector and to train these people where you are not providing it for them. It is all you just know how to do. Every now and then it's just to come together, dialogue, do this, do that.
So it really does. I do understand. Like I think I said that before. I do understand where the lecturers are coming from and all of that. But looking at it from the perspective of the student, don't you think that there have been, in as much as the lecturers are fighting for a really great cause, don't you think the students are gravely affected so much so that they're considering protesting to go back to the classroom?
Yes, of course. It is, if they find it worthwhile, they can do that. But I would suggest that they do more, on the side of the government. They should hold them accountable and hold them responsible, because they are the root cause of this issue. So they are the employer. So whatever is not okay with you as an employee, you have the right to protest or to say, okay, you are no more working. So it is now behoves of the employer, to take decisive steps to ensure that, what needs to be done is done.
It's done. All right. I think this is going to be the last headline we're going to be looking at this morning. It's on the Punch newspaper. Just above there, it says PDP governors accuse federal government of insincerity, duplicity in dirty false saga. And then just beside the Punch says full scarcity and policemen deployed to control queues, commuters stranded, marketers complain of adulterated PMS trapped in filling station. And I think there's also replicated in other newspapers as well. I think the Guardian says regulators mum over fuel scarcity as NNPC relocates team to Lagos. Do you think we're going to see any relief soon? Because on my way to work this morning, what I saw looks like it's getting worse. It's getting worse by the day. The queues have increased massively. Roads have been blocked. Filling stations shut. Do you think we're going to see any relief anytime soon?
Well, that we can only see any relief if those people in that sector who are saddled with the responsibility to manage the sector, rise up to the occasion and come to save Nigeria. Because not only you, the story I heard from a couple of people last night was quite pathetic. Terrible. Very pathetic. So we can only say we can expect something good in no time if the leadership rises to the occasion and do something. But as it is now, I don't see anything good coming off soon. But if we rise up and do what is expected of them, I see that, coming so soon.
I hope that happens real soon because I'm equally tired. Thank you so much for joining me in Nigeria Now this
You're
morning.
welcome.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you. And thank you for joining me on Nigeria Now this morning. Don't forget, Nigeria Now comes to you every weekday, Monday to Friday. So I'm going to work here tomorrow. But before then, be a part of TOS TV community. Follow us across all social media platforms. It's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube. And you can, stream our content, news, stories from around the world on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesua. Thank you again. I'll see you tomorrow.